US. We're joined in studio by our international relations expert, Dr. Emmanuel Navon. And once again, Dr. Navon, we keep on hearing about the US shutdown, and this government shutdown is impacting on so many developments. How irregular is it to have a president push out his State of the Union address?
It's unprecedented, but it also goes to show that presidential systems don't work that well. We have another example with what's going on now in Venezuela. But presidential systems very often create clashes between the executive and parliament. And we have an example here in the United States. Now, this shutdown, when you look at it, we're talking about $5.7 billion, which is nothing compared to the U.S. economy and the U.S. budget, but it's causing a huge harm to the U.S. economy, and that's really the problem at this point. The damage to the U.S. economy is much larger than the amount of money itself. It's a small amount of money, and it's really turning into a political fight between the House and the president.
And what's also clear about this political fight is what we're seeing is that no one's going to budge. And so how do you see this unfolding and some kind of resolution actually coming out?
Well, I think that ideally the compromise should be, the House agreeing to give this money to the administration, which, as I said, is a small amount of money, and the president maybe giving in on regularizing the situation, the legal situation of illegal immigrants, at least their children, because that's a demand made by the Democrats. I think a compromise can be reached, but so far, really, both the Democrats and the president are holding the American economy hostage and workers of the U.S. government hostage of this shutdown. So I think really eventually they will have to reach a compromise. The political system in America today is so toxic that basically both the Democrats and the Republicans are using this to try and prove their point. And it's becoming very, very controversial, very toxic, as I said, but it is time to reach a compromise. It's a small amount of money, and I think it's really unfair for the American workers, government workers, to be held hostage of this political fight.
And when you talk about those government workers, we're talking about 800,000 federal workers. How realistically can people continue another month without being paid?
Right. I mean, it's absurd. They're not allowed to use their cell phone, their computer. They don't have a salary. This is just completely abnormal. I can't think of any other Western democracy where you would have such a situation with all government workers going without a pay for over a month. This is really absurd. And it goes to show, again, as I said before, that there's something very dysfunctional about the American political system. And this is the ultimate example. The shutdown for so long goes to show that there's something really wrong with how the system is working in America, this tension between the two branches of government. And as I said, again, at the end of the day, we're talking about $5.7 billion. It's also a campaign commitment of the president. The president said when he ran for president 2 years ago that he was going to build a wall. So he said, from his point of view, he's only, he has this campaign commitment. He's only asking for, for the House to provide the money for him to implement his policy. It's for the side of the American budget and the American economy. It's a small amount of money, and I think really it doesn't make America look very good internationally.
International relations expert Dr. Emmanuel Navon, thank you so much. And